Interview start. Joanna, good afternoon. Thank you ever so much for joining us today for our Business Owner Spotlight. We're really looking forward to talking to you today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure, absolute pleasure. So tell us a little bit about your business and how long you've been in business for yourself.
Well, I've been going for about 3 years now, and it's going well. And I've always had like a passion for writing. So I did masters in creative writing at university, and then after that I just really wanted to find something in which I could do lots of writing, and so what I do now is just perfect for that.
Yeah, great. And so you've clearly followed what was a passion for you and created into a business. So tell us a little bit about some of the things that you offer as part of your business.
Well, predominantly I write articles or blogs for various businesses, and I also do social media. So I do like little social media posts that people can put up on like LinkedIn or Facebook or even YouTube.
Yep.
And just essentially anything you can think of to do with like business and writing. That's what I do.
Yeah, absolutely. So that passion you've had right since you were at school, it's given you a really nice opportunity to turn it into a business for yourself, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite funny because at school, they always said to me, you could never, ever turn writing into a business. You know, there's no money to be made. I was like, think of something else, but I just stuck with my guns, and I just knew, writing's my passion. That's what I love. They actually turned me off English to school, which is why I did history first. And then when I was doing my history degree in archaeology, I discovered, you can actually do creative writing as a master's. And then that kind of rekindled that initial love I used to have of English, and found out that I really enjoyed it and just took off. And then, rest is history, as they say.
And I think that's fascinating, because the scenario that actually in school you were kind of turned off what was your passion, but you're re-engaging with it and then being able to push on with it must be really satisfying then, to be able to say that you're 3 years into what is now your business and your job.
Absolutely. And then it's quite funny because I have cousins and people a bit younger than me, and they come up to me and I just say to them, look, just do what you love. Do what you love. That'll lead you the right way. If it doesn't work out, that's fine. But the most important thing is if you can do a job that you enjoy, it's the best feeling in the world. Yeah,
and I think I've got so much respect for you and for everybody who has the same sort of tenacity to be able to push past that, because you're right, we spend so much time in business and so much time at work, then to be doing something that you don't want to do or you don't have a passion for is really quite difficult, isn't it? But as you say, that passion can really drive you forward and create a business out of it is what I've taken so far from the a couple of minutes we've already been going. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it was quite hard. I did try a couple of other things first, which didn't work out. But then just get at it, and then back in my mind, I always thought one day I'll start my own business. And then it was just finding the confidence and the courage and just going for it I'd say it's like the big major thing I had to do. And then after that I had to work out, how do you actually run a business?
Of course. And what have you learned through that process then?
I've learned a lot of things. Learned how to talk to people, because I'm naturally quite a shy person, so learning to communicate with people, stay in contact with people, or even just to say to people, hey, things aren't going well, or I've actually been overwhelmed, because everyone was really scared. I didn't want to let people down. I thought if I said I'm actually really struggling, that people would just disappear. But I had to learn the hard way that it's the opposite. The best thing to do is, if you're overwhelmed, let people know. Say, well, okay, I can't get this done for you this week, but if you give me a couple more weeks, or would it be possible to do this for you in a couple more weeks? And so I'd say the biggest thing was just being open with people and just say, I'm managing my time a bit better, and just saying, sometimes you just have to be a little more assertive and just say, today's not possible, but tomorrow is.
Yeah, absolutely. And you touched on it right at the start of what you said there, which was, you've learned how to communicate, and what you're saying there, when you felt that things have been a little bit overwhelming, or you found yourself in that scenario, the best way to get out of that is to communicate properly. And there's a lot to be said for that when you're having the scenario of not communicating and not delivering on what you said you were going to do, versus communicating and being more assertive, using your words and understanding that actually that can still maintain good customer relationships and ensure that you're not overwhelmed. And that, as you say, communication is so important to that. So tell us a little bit about some of the types of businesses you work with, and what type of circumstances would people consider using somebody like you?
Well, quite diverse. I have to say, I've done everything from like power companies, like engineering, electrical companies, to like interior design. At the moment, my major clients, they tend to be other marketing companies.
Okay.
Because what I found is a lot of people marketing, they don't. I mean, what they do is, they're brilliant at what they do. They're really great at the strategy. I wouldn't have a clue how to do a marketing strategy. It's not really something that I've been trained in at all. So they're really great at that. But sometimes what they lack is the writing skills. And of course, as someone who's come from a creative writing background and historical research background, that's me. That's what I do, and that's what I bring to the table. Yeah.
So you're able to then. And this is the beauty, and I'm sure what you add to your client base is you don't just, you're not majoring on one particular subject, but I guess you get to learn about a whole bunch of different subjects with also the wide range of customers you deal with. But you can put your skills then to deliver what people like your marketing companies and the rest of your clients need. Then.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember doing my history degree, and again, people were like, well, what was use that? What are you going to use it for? And I actually use it probably more than my writing degree at times, because having the skill to just read things fast, or just pick out salient points, and or even just notice what isn't there and then go looking for the information, or even just asking pertinent questions, that all comes from a history degree.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely.
There's definitely. And I think, again, when people think of like these art degrees, they don't think there's anything transferable, and it's not the case. There's so much that's transferable into business, and it gets your mind thinking in a completely different way. And so I think, and it makes you a little more, don't dare say, it makes you a little more broad-minded.
Yes, of course. Yeah, absolutely. It makes you, again, you've hit on a couple of excellent points there, which is the scenario that actually, people might be in your situation, coming out of university, not realizing the skills they've got and how applicable it is into business now. And what you're saying is that the research part of the history degree in particular has left you really well placed to combine the passion plus what you've learned and become skilled at to create a business, which I think is a lovely lesson.
Yeah, and it also means I can write on these really highly technical subjects. I can write about auditing. I didn't have a clue what auditing was when I took it on, but fine. I went away, looked it up, found some people who worked in auditing, talked to them about it, and then because I've had those skills in essay writing, I could write a highly technical blog. Then on the other hand, because I've got the creative writing, I can also write on more creative subjects like interior design. I can pick up on the voice of the business owner. Because the other thing is, I find every single client requires a different style, different voice, and just being able to adapt to someone who just needs to sound enthusiastic, or someone who's a little more professional. I'm not saying to designers aren't professional, but someone who's like more corporate is what I mean. And just be able to switch between those two styles, I think, will definitely opens more doors to me, what I can do, and what I'm able to write.
Yeah, and I'm sure you're employed on a regular basis for to allow your specialist skills to come across and be valuable to the businesses that maybe don't have those sort of skills. So the fact that you're able to be as diverse as you've just articulated there means that you can go across industries, and I'm sure that's a really important factor in businesses giving you the trust to go in and do some of that great work for them.
Yeah, exactly. And especially now, especially as a startup, and you don't really know that many people in business, or you're just trying to find your feet.
Of course.
And you're more or less in this position where you have to, or you feel like you have to say yes to everything. Because wherever comes your way, it's like, yes, I need to do that, because otherwise how am I going to get started? But being able to do so many different subjects, or write into so many different subjects, definitely helps with that.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's very hard to like as someone just starting to specialize straight away. I think.
Yeah, of course.
The more you can write about, the better it is.
Yeah.
And then later you can specialize.
Of course. Then you know what you're good at and stuff like that, and you take it from there, don't you? Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
So one last question, I think, just before we wrap up. What advice would you give to somebody who was maybe in your position 3 years ago? What advice would you give them from your journey so far that would help them to convince them to start their journey?
That's a very good question. I'd say the big thing is to have confidence in yourself.
Yep.
And just to go for it. And you are going to mess up. You are going to make mistakes.
Yep.
You're going to have days where you're just going to think, why did I do this? Why did I start this whole thing? And honestly, as you go along, you're just going to learn and just learn and learn and learn. Yep. And you're going to be part of this wonderful community, and you'll find people, it's not cutthroat, people genuinely, especially if they own their own businesses as well, they want to help you, they want you to succeed.
Yep.
And just be open and honest. And that's the best advice I can give.
Great, excellent advice. And if anybody watching this wants to find out a little bit more about your work and how you do what you do, where can we find out a little bit more about what you do, Joanna?
Well, I have a website, which is www.lyricalmarketing.com, and also follow me on LinkedIn under Joanna Hardy or Lyrical Marketing, and then also on Instagram under Lyrical_marketing. And yeah, I think that's pretty much the best place to find me, really.
Great. So we've got some nice work there under Lyrical Marketing that gives people a chance to find out a little bit more about you and what you do, which is great. Well, Joanna, it's been a pleasure to have you on. Thank you so much for sharing your journey over the last 3 years. It's been fascinating to hear how you've really turned your passion into a business, and I'm sure there's a number of people watching this who will be really inspired by what you've had to share. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's been great.
Interview stop.